Welcome back to yet another or a very different again. मतलब very different again. एक और study with me. Let's begin. अच्छे से रखा है मैंने कैमरा सब कुछ. By the way, आज अपन स्कूल नहीं गए, मतलब मैं स्कूल का ही जा रही हूँ स्कूल. But yeah, आज मैं स्कूल नहीं गई. मैं कल स्कूल गई थी. Just for like some updates की what is happening, क्या है, कब मेरे practicals होने वाले हैं. And I have my practical Saturday. Practicals of computer, मतलब computer के practical है. Then we also have practicals of bio. Saturday को नहीं है but इसी महीने में, like in the December only, don't know when. हमारे ऐसे physics के practical, bio के chem के भी है. पता नहीं मैं क्या ही करेंगे सर chem में, क्योंकि हमारे पास कोई भी chemicals नहीं है in our school. We don't do any practicals because सारे chemicals जो है वो expire हो चुके हैं. You're getting, and कभी भी नहीं होता है, like I've never had that experience. But अभी मैं सोच रही हूँ कि like देखो, in terms of like this periodic table chapter, this I will not be reading now for sure. मैं नहीं पढ़ने वाली हूँ इसे, ठीक है. इसका मैं सिर्फ ये भी नहीं पढ़ने वाली हूँ. Will be reading with chemical bonding. ये chemical bonding होने में better है. I feel like instead of reading this, better will read chemical bonding. कुछ तो है जो मुझे नहीं आता है ऐसा. यहाँ पे भी है बहुत सारी चीज़ें, बट यहाँ मुझे लगता है कि मुझे थोड़ी क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस करने की ज़रूरत है. मैं चैप्टर पढ़ के तंग आ चुकी हूँ. So if I will be having, and look at this cute pens. I'm so obsessed with this. But इसमें भी ना वो ट्रांसपेरेंट वाले आते हैं, पता है. Those pens are like, I love them. But never mind, guys. And actually, one more thing, you know what? People have generally a very big misconception that people that reading reading is not that ये मतलब. Actually, what I believe that as much as we read, कि हम खुद से कितनी बार पढ़ेंगे ना, उतना ज़्यादा अच्छी बात होती है. And also one more thing, guys, if you're watching it, please tell me that my 11th और 12th में should I take Hindi? Is Hindi a good option? Because now मैंने हिंदी नहीं लिया है. I am thinking to take Hindi. I know it's risk, but I genuinely want to. तो मुझे बता देना, ठीक है. Let's begin with chemical bonding. Now you put your volumes down. Just study with me, guys. बस पहले भी कर सकते थे आप ये चीज़. Why to listen to my गंदा सा yapping? Let's begin. So everything in this world wants stability. So is case with the atoms. For example, stability means having the electron arrangement of an inert gas. Octet in its outermost shell. Helium has 2 electrons, duplet, while all other inert gases, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, etc. कह रही हूँ मैं, have 8 electrons in their outermost shell as given in the table. Yeah, we can see the table. Yes, we do see it. Yeah, it is found that elements with a complete outermost shell do not react. Yes, noble gases, inert gases. In other words, the atoms having 8 electrons or 2 electrons helium configuration in their outermost shell are very stable and unreactive. Therefore, to attain stability, atoms tend to combine chemically by redistribution of electrons in the outermost shell or a valence electron, so that each is left with a stable electronic configuration, duplet or octet. This cause for chemical combination is the tendency of an atom to acquire the nearest noble gas configuration in their outermost orbit and become stable. During redistribution of electrons, a force of attraction develops between atoms which binds them together to form molecules. This force of attraction is known as chemical bond. A chemical bond may be defined as a force of attraction between two atoms in a molecule to maintain stability. There are three methods there are three methods in which atoms can achieve a stable configuration: the transfer of one or more electrons from one atom to other to form an electrovalent bond or an ionic bond. Electrovalent bond और ionic bond याद रखना थोड़ा सा, ठीक है. electrovalent bond और ionic bond दोनों सेम चीज़ है. मैं ये बहुत ज़्यादा भूल जाती हूँ. But yeah, so there are three methods in which an atom can achieve a stable configuration. Should I do it? करा मैंने पूरे टेक्स्ट में. मैंने कहाँ तो करा है. अच्छा, तो कहाँ करा है क्या मैंने? नहीं करा यार, मतलब ठीक है पर कर ले. Never mind, guys, we'll do it. Though I don't like using that a lot of there are pencil use करेंगे better है. There are three methods in which atom can achieve a stable configuration: the transfer of one or more electrons from one atom to another atom, the transfer of one or more electrons from one atom to another, electrovalent or ionic bond, sharing of two or three pairs of electrons between the atoms to form a covalent or a molecular bond to covalent or a molecular bond. ठीक है. When the shared pair of electrons are contributed only by one combining atoms to form a coordinate or a dative bond. coordinate और dative bond मुझे सच बता रही हूँ, कुछ समझ नहीं आता इन दोनों की, इन दोनों का डिफरेंस. I don't understand this. I don't understand polar and non-polar. दो मुझे polar और non-polar में थोड़ा बहुत समझ आ चुका है from the yesterday's class of हमारे class teacher, स्कूल वाले टीचर ने. She had explained it nicely. Atoms of metallic atoms of metallic elements have that have 1, 2 or 3 valence electrons can lose electrons to atoms of non-metallic elements which have 7, 6 or 5 electrons respectively in the outermost shell, and thereby forming an electrovalent compound. After the transfer of electrons, both the combining atoms acquire the electronic configuration of the nearest inert gas. A metallic atom which loses electrons becomes a positively charged ion and is known as cation, and a non-metallic atom which gains electrons becomes a negatively charged ion and known as anion. ठीक है. कैटायन क्या है, आयन क्या है, पता है, पता है, पता है. Ion is a charged particle which is formed due to gain or loss of one or more electrons by an atom. A metallic element whose one or more atom readily loses to form a positively charged is known as electropositive. A non-metallic element whose atom readily accepts electron to form a negatively charged ion is called as electronegative. ठीक है. A cation and an anion being oppositely charged attract each other and form a chemical bond. Since this chemical bond formation is due to the electrostatic force of attraction between the cation and the anion, it is an electrovalent or an ionic bond. Electrovalent or ionic compounds, the chemical compounds formed as a result of transfer of electrons from one atom to another electropositive element to an atom of another electronegative element or are called ionic or the electrovalent compounds. Electrovalency: the number of electrons that an atom of an element loses or gains to form an electrovalent bond is called as electrovalency. Conditions for the formation of electrovalent bond: when an ionic compound is formed, the neutral atom is changed to a cation or an anion. The formation of cations and anions depends on the following factors: low ionization potential, high electron affinity, large electronegativity difference. Low ionization potential: if the ionization potential of a particular atom is low, it will lose electrons easily. A cation is formed easily. High electron affinity: if the electron's affinity value is high, an ion will be formed easily. Higher electron affinity values favors ionic bonding. Large electronegativity difference: if the difference in the electronegativities of two elements is higher, then the transfer of electrons will be easier. Therefore, more the difference in the electronegativity, more will be the ionic nature of the resulting compound. The metals of groups of 1, 2 and 13 to have a tendency to lose their valence electrons, so they combine with non-metals of group 15, 16 and 17 which have a tendency to gain electrons and form ionic compounds or ionic bonds. Note: group 1 elements are most electropositive. They are metallic in nature. Their metallic nature increases down the group. Group 17 elements are most electronegative. Fluorine is the most electronegative element. Thus, calcium fluoride CSF is the most ionic compound. Bonds formed between metals and non-metals are ionic or electrovalent. Why are ionic compounds stable? Ionic compounds are formed by ions, but there also exists a repulsive force between ions for like charges. Since the electrostatic force of attraction between opposite charges is much higher, it makes the ionic compound stable. NaCl, Mg, Cl2, CaO, KBr, CaCl2. ठीक है. Sodium chloride: the electronic configuration of sodium atom is 281. It has one electron in the excess of the stable electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas anion. Therefore, an atom of sodium shows a tendency to give up the electron from its outermost shell so as to acquire a stable electronic configuration of neon. However, after giving up one electron, the sodium atom is no more electrically neutral. It has 11 protons in its nucleus, but only 10 electrons revolving around. Therefore, it has a net positive charge on it. This positively charged atom is called a sodium ion and is written as Na+, and its electronic configuration resembles that of the noble gas neon. The properties of Na and Na+. ठीक है. Comparison properties मुझे नहीं लगता कि मैं हाइलाइटर के बिना, लिटरली आई एम अ हाइलाइटर पगलू, बिकॉज विदाउट हाइलाइटर मुझे कुछ समझ आता ही नहीं है, मुझे पता ही नहीं है कि क्या पढ़ना है क्या नहीं पढ़ना है, मैं सब भूल जाती हूँ। मुझे लगता है कि यार ये ज़रूरी है, मैं सब पढ़ देती हूँ, मुझे ज़रूर लगता है भाई, सच बता, पता नहीं यार, बट करना तो है। The electronic configuration of chlorine is 287. It has an electronic configuration with one electron less than that of the nearest noble gas argon, 2888. Therefore, chlorine atom shows a tendency to acquire an electron to attain an octagenous outermost shell. An atom of chlorine is electrically neutral as it contains 17 protons, 17 nucleus, and 17 electrons evolving around it. But after acquiring an electron from the sodium atom, the chlorine atom does not remain electrically neutral. It has one मोर इलेक्ट्रॉन, दस द नंबर ऑफ प्रोटॉन्स इन इस न्यूक्लियस, एक 17 है और 18 हो गया ना अभी, क्योंकि इसने एक और इलेक्ट्रॉन मांग लिया, तो अभी क्या हो जाता है, सीरियल माइनस हो जाता है, एंड व्हाट बिकम्स, इट बिकम्स क्लोरीन आयन। सो ये जो है कंपैरिजन पढ़ लो, क्या है, वैसे भी दिन भर तो पढ़ी रहती हूँ मैं। क्लोरीन आयन हैज एन ऑक्टेट ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स इन इट्स आउटरमोस्ट शेल एंड इट्स इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फिगरेशन रिसेम्बल्स दैट ऑफ नोबल गैस, thus when an atom of sodium combines with an atom of chlorine, one electron is transferred from the sodium atom to the chlorine atom, resulting in the formation of sodium chloride molecule. The cation Na plus and anion Cl minus are attracted towards each other during due to the opposite electrical charge in it. ठीक है, बताया ना, NaCl हुआ है, फिर कर लेना ये थोड़ा, ठीक है। तो अभी हम पढ़ेंगे इलेक्ट्रॉन डॉट स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ NaCl गाइस। तो NaCl का पढ़ लेते हैं पहले, बहुत ही आसान है। देन MgCl का पढ़ना है हमें, एंड CO का, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है बाय द वे, ठीक है। द नंबर ऑफ वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स ऑफ मैग्नीशियम एटॉमिक नंबर 12 is 2 and that of chlorine atomic number 17 is 7. Magnesium atom acquires a stable electronic configuration of 8 electrons by losing 2 electrons. मतलब कोई आ रहा है, never mind, let's get back. However, each chlorine atom which contains 7 electrons in the outermost shell only one of the 2 electrons donated by a magnesium atom. Therefore, for each magnesium atom forming a magnesium ion, there must be 2 chlorine atoms to form chloride ions. Yes, ठीक है, ठीक है। Thus, the ratio of magnesium to chloride ions is the magnesium chloride must be 1:2. So the molecular formula of compound magnesium is 1:2. Yes, ये पता है। Electron dot structure of magnesium भाई कर लेना, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। इलेक्ट्रॉन डॉट स्ट्रक्चर इसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज हमारे सिलेबस में दिया रखा है, ठीक है। कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड, ठीक है। द नंबर ऑफ बैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स ऑफ कैल्शियम इज 20:2 and that of oxygen is 6. Acquires 2 electrons to attain octet. In this presence of oxygen, each calcium atom loses its 2 electrons to one oxygen atom. As a result, the calcium atom forms a calcium ion with charge +2, and the oxygen atom forms an oxide ion with -2. Since only one oxygen atom is needed to accept the valence 2 electrons dotted by a calcium atom, the formula of calcium oxide is CaO not C2O2, ठीक है। हाँ, हो गया, ये भी हो गया, चलो यार। In the formation of an electrovalent bond, the transfer player, the electropositive atom undergoes oxidation, loses electrons, while the electronegative atom undergoes reduction. इलेक्ट्रोपॉजिटिव जो होता है वो क्या होता है, पॉजिटिव पे क्या होता है, ऑक्सीडेशन होता है ना। पॉजिटिव पे क्या होता है, ऑक्सीडेशन होता है। नेगेटिव पे क्या होता है, रिडक्शन होता है, ठीक है, इतना पता है मैं। और जो साइमल्टेनियसली होता है उसको हम रिडॉक्स रिएक्शन बोलते हैं, इतना पता है। इतना पता है इतना पता है। ऑक्सीडेशन का मतलब क्या होता है, लूजेस द इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, ऑक्सीडेशन, ऑक्सीडाइज हो रहा है, तो ले बेटा। रिडक्शन मतलब दैट इज ऑल, ठीक है। Sodium chloride is formed by the combination of sodium and chloride. The reaction can be written as 2 halves oxidation reduction. This is redox reaction. Is थोड़ा important है, मैं लिख अंडरलाइन कर लेते हैं. एंड नोट वाला जो है ऑर्बिट स्ट्रक्चर इज नॉट देयर. इलेक्ट्रॉन डॉट स्ट्रक्चर है, मैं बता दे रही हूँ. ऑर्बिटल स्ट्रक्चर जो है ना सर्कली 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 वाली चीज़ें वो नहीं है. ठीक है, बट नॉट देयर. बट इलेक्ट्रॉन डॉट स्ट्रक्चर भाई बता रही हूँ उसमें है. Oxidation and reduction always occur simultaneously because the electrons lost by the reducing agent must be gained by the oxidizing agent. For example, reactions भाई reactions यहाँ नहीं है. एसिड बेसिस सॉल्ट्स में एनालिटिकल भाई वो भी पढ़ना है मुझे. हाँ, इन दिस रिएक्शन एल्यूमिनियम एक्ट एज अ reducing agent iron 3 and to oxide. This is a reduction reaction. At the same time aluminum is oxidized to aluminum oxide by oxidizing agent 2 3 and this is an oxidation reaction. याद रख लेना यार कैसे करना है. और यहाँ पे इंटेक्स क्वेश्चन से यूज करेंगे बाद में, अभी तो बिल्कुल नहीं होगा मुझसे. कोवैलेंट मॉलिक्यूल और को-मॉलिक्यूलर बॉन्ड अभी हम कहते हैं. अ केमिकल बॉन्ड इज दैट इज फॉर्म्ड between two combining atoms by mutual sharing of one or more pair of electrons is called as covalent or molecular bond, and the compound formed due to this bond is called as covalent bond. The atoms of a non-metals usually 5 6 7 electrons in the outermost shell except carbon which has 4 and hydrogen which has just one outermost shell. The atoms of such elements do not favor the loss of electrons due to energy consideration. So whenever a non-metal combines with another non-metal to attain a stable configuration, the transfer of electrons is not possible. The atom of a non-metal can complete its octet only by mutual sharing one or more pairs of electrons with an atom of another metal, where each atom contributes an equal number of electrons. Therefore, in case of two non-metal, sharing of electrons takes place between their atoms and a covalent bond is formed. For example, hydrogen is a non-metal and chlorine is a non-metal. When hydrogen combines with chlorine to form hydrogen chloride HCl, the sharing takes place between hydrogen and chlorine atoms and a covalent bond is formed. It should be noted that a covalent bond can be also formed between the two atoms of a same non-metal. For example, क्लोरीन कंबाइंस विथ क्लोरीन अगेन, ये भी ऐसे भी हो सकता है. इलेक्ट्रोवैलेंट आयनिक का समझ आ गया. मैं आयनिक बॉन्ड और इलेक्ट्रोवैलेंट बॉन्ड में क्या हो रहा था मैं समझ आ गया. वहाँ उसने दे ही दिया, सब कुछ दे दिया था, तो ले लिया आपने बन जाता है. इलेक्ट्रोवैलेंट में दोनों की अच्छी खासी शेयरिंग बनती है. ठीक है, कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड्स में भी अगर 3 टाइप्स के होते हैं, तो एक सिंगल कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड, एक डबल कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड, एक ट्रिपल कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड. अभी क्या है हम पढ़ लेते हैं अच्छे से, बिकॉज मुझे मैं लिटिल मैं बुद्धि हूँ. A single covalent bond is formed by the sharing of one pair of electrons between the atoms. Each atom contributing one electron. It is denoted by putting a short line between the two atoms. Molecules of hydrogen, chlorine, hydrogen chloride, water, ammonia, methane, and carbon tetrachloride are example of single covalent bonds. Similarly, a double bond is formed by the sharing of two pairs of electrons between two atoms. A double bond is actually a combination of two single bonds, so it is represented by putting two short lines. Oxygen molecule O2 contains a double bond between two atoms and it can be written as this like this. Also, carbon dioxide contains two double bonds. A triple bond is a combination of three single bonds. Nitrogen N2 contains a triple bond, so it is written like this. Some molecules have a combination of single bonds as well as double bonds or a triple bond. For example, ethene C2H4 molecules has double covalent bond and for single covalent bonds. ठीक है, ये ऑर्गेनिक में पढ़ा था ना. सिमिलरली इथाइन ऑल्सो हैज ट्रिपल है एंड 2 सिंगल कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड्स है. ठीक है, चलो इस हो गया. The covalence of an atom is the number of its electrons taking part in the formation of shared pair of electron to attain stable electronic configuration. Thus, the covalency of hydrogen is 1, oxygen 2, nitrogen 3, carbon 4. Non-polar covalent compounds. Covalent compounds are non-polar. Covalent compounds. Covalent क्या होता है पता है मैं. Covalent compounds are non-polar. पहली बात मार्क कर लेते हैं पगलोट. Covalent compounds are non-polar. Covalent जो compounds हैं हमारे, ये जो भी है म्यूचुअल शेयरिंग हो रही है यहाँ पे, ये क्या है? ये non-polar है. सर ये पोलर है. सर ये non-polar है. और ये क्या है? ये इलेक्ट्रिकली न्यूट्रल है. ठीक है, If two covalent compound bonded for atoms are identical, the shared electron pairs is at equal distance from their combining atoms. The shared electron pair is equally attracted by the nuclei of the two types of charge, and such molecules are nonpolar. For example, hydrogen, chlorine, oxygen, etc. are perfectly nonpolar compounds. These compounds do not ionize in water due to lack of charge separation. The Bohr formed between dissimilar atoms can be nonpolar if their electronegativity difference is little and their structure permits the shared pair of electrons to attract equally the interlinked atoms, and thus the molecule becomes symmetrical. For example, carbon tetrachloride, methane to see structure ये है. The shared electron pair is in methane are at equal distance from the carbon and hydrogen atoms because the two have nearly equal electronegativities. पोलर कोवैलेंट कंपाउंड. अभी नॉन पोलर हमें समझ आ चुका है. नॉन पोलर मतलब क्या है, वहाँ पे कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड होता है, इक्वल शेयरिंग होती है, वो है पोलर. ठीक है, ठीक है. ये नॉन पोलर में क्या होता है, सॉरी पोलर मैं बता रही हूँ. पोलर नॉन पोलर में इतनी कंफ्यूज होती थी. इवन मैं 9th, छोड़, मैंने 9th में पढ़ाई नहीं है अच्छे से कुछ भी, बट एटलीस्ट मुझे तो बहुत कंफ्यूज है. मुझे पढ़ना है यार. अब तो ऐसा हो रखा है कितने बजे, 11 बजे भाई, 12 बजे तक तो कंप्लीट करना ही है. ओके. The covalent compounds are said to be polar when the shared pair of electrons are not at equal distance between two atoms. See, the covalent compounds are said to be polar when the shared pair of electrons are not at equal distance. This results in the development of fraction positive and fraction negative charge. They ionize in water. For example, HCl and hydrogen fluoride. In HCl means hydrogen fluoride, the strong nuclear charge of chlorine atom, the electronegativity of the chlorine is 3, attracts the shared pair of electrons towards itself. The negative charge shifts towards the chlorine atom, thereby developing a slight negative charge on it. The hydrogen atom electronegativity develops a slight positive charge, therefore a polar covalent bond is formed. This is shown below. The arrow on the line indicates that the shared pair is shifted towards that atom. Other atoms of polar covalent compounds that ionize are water, ammonia, and hydrogen fluoride. In solution, fractional charges of polar covalent compounds are converted to complete charges and ions are produced. The process by which covalent compounds are converted into ions is called as ionization. कोवैलेंट को ions में convert होता है, इसको हम ionization बोलते हैं. इतना हमें पता होना चाहिए. ठीक है. Next note. Greater the electronegativity difference between two atoms forming a bond, more is this पोलैरिटी. कोई आ रहा है, मुझे क्यों लग रहा है कि कोई आ रहा है. मुझे लिटरली आई एम हैविंग astigmatism. If you guys know, tell me in the comment section what is astigmatism. If you are a bio student, you know this. मैं पढ़ रही थी बायो इससे पहले, बट आई एम नॉट मेकिंग वीडियोज ऑफ बायो स्टडी विद मी नाउ एंड डू ऑफ केमिस्ट्री बिकॉज बायो मेरा हो चुका है अच्छा खासा यार. मतलब अच्छा खासा इन द सेंस आई डोंट नो फ्यू थिंग्स अगेन, फ्यू टर्म्स लाइक मुझे प्लांट फिजियोलॉजी में हो चुका है यार, बट अगेन मैं भूल जा रही हूँ. एंड देयर इज ऑलवेज नीड ऑफ एक्टिव रिकॉल करने की चीज़ें जो कि मैं भूल जा रही हूँ. द रिविजन इज वेरी मस्ट. आई अंडरस्टूड दैट. डर लग रहा है मुझे खुद. Let's get back to our studies, guys. Greater the electronegativity difference between the two atoms forming a bond, more is the polar nature of the molecule. The bond formed between two atoms with same electronegativity is non-polar. The bond formed between two atoms with same electronegativity is non-polar. With slightly different electronegativity is polar, and much electronegativity difference is ionic. Since a polar covalent compound has both positive and negative poles, it is known to be dipole. A molecule that has both slight positive and slight negative is called as dipole molecule. Both atoms should have conditions for the formation of covalent compounds. It has to form a covalent compound. So water. Now see, what is water? Water is polar or non-polar? Water is polar. Water is not non-polar. It is polar. It dissolves everything, whatever it has. No? So both atoms should have 4 or more electrons in the outermost shell. Non-metals exception. Both the atoms should have a high electronegativity. Both the atoms should have high electron affinity. Both the atoms should have high ionization energy. The electronegativity difference between the combining atoms should either be 0 or negligible. Done. कसम कसम से मैं इतनी खुश हो रही हूँ ना, खत्म हो रहा है. By the way, it's exactly 11. Hope जल्दी खत्म हो जाए. As we move across the period, the electrovalent character of chloride oxides extra decrease. An example of decreasing electrovalent character of the chlorides of an element from group 3 shown below. ठीक है. Some covalent molecules and the structures. Hydrogen molecule के covalent. तो हाइड्रोजन मॉलिक्यूल जो है ये नॉन पोलर है. ठीक है. देयर इज नो पार्शियल नेगेटिव पार्शियल पॉजिटिव. आगे इक्वल शेयरिंग हो रही है यहाँ पे. क्लोरीन मॉलिक्यूल ये भी नॉन पोलर है. ठीक है. बता देगी क्या पोलर है क्या नहीं पोलर है. नाइट्रोजन मॉलिक्यूल ये नॉन पोलर है. ठीक है. और कार्बन टेट्राक्लोराइड ये भी नॉन पोलर है. ठीक है. और या मीथेन जो ये नॉन पोलर है. तो और क्या है. मैं अभी जिस वाटर को क्या बोला मैंने, वाटर इज अ पोलर है बोला ना. वो आई हैव टोल्ड पोलर. वाटर इज पोलर. वाटर इज नॉट नॉन पोलर. इट्स वाटर इज पोलर. Let us read this now, whatever is given in this boxy में. देखो यार ये वाला text. By the way, the textbook I'm referring. ठीक है. ये सब पढ़ा था मैंने. पागल. A hydrogen atom has one electron. It is in its only shell. It needs one more electron to attain duplet. To meet if this need, hydrogen atom shares its electron with another hydrogen atom. Thus, one electron each is contributed by the two atoms of hydrogen, and the resulting pair of electron is mutually shared by both the atoms to form a hydrogen molecule. Though I'm still a little confused between polar and non-polar. Ammonia molecule, which is polar. ठीक है. आई थिंक इट्स आई माइट बी रॉन्ग ऑल्सो ड्यू टू माई अंडरस्टैंडिंग. मैं जो बता रही हूँ अभी, तो पोलर वो होते हैं जो अपने आप से ही रिश्ते बना देते हैं. लाइक सी मतलब सॉरी Cl. अमोनिया हो गया. ऐसे वो होते हैं क्या यार, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा पोलर नॉन पोलर. I think I should go and watch the lecture now. Video. वीडियो देखने की ज़रूरत है मुझे. Okay, we will have a like lecture as soon as I'll be done with this one. As soon as I'll be done with acid basics and salts. So arrange an electrolyte cell as shown in the figure. The electric current contains a 6-volt battery, an emitter bulb, and a platinum electrodes in the series. Take an alcohol, chloroform, benzene, petrol, and the solution of sugar, magnesium chloride, sodium chloride, sodium hydroxide, copper sulfate in the separate beaker, and dip the platinum electrodes in them for a moment, one by one, and note the change in the emitter readings. There will be no, because it has no ions, it has only molecules. ये मैंने ना सर ने बताया था यार, मेरे फ्रेंड्स लिटरली दे आर सो. When the current is passed in the solution of the magnesium chloride, sodium chloride, and sodium hydroxide and copper sulfate, the bulb glows. This shows that electrolyte compounds all allow electric current to pass through them. These ionic compounds are good conductors of electricity in modern aqueous states due to the free mobile electrons. Or free mobile ions, aqueous or modern state. When the current is passed through the solutions of covalent compounds, distilled water, sugar solution, alcohol, chloroform, benzene, petrol, the bulb does not glow. This shows that they does not conduct electricity. This happens because solution of covalent compounds contain only molecules, no ions. वही मुझे सही लग रहा है यार कि मेरे 10th कसम से उदार ही देखना. Like in our class, people like girls especially, and even boys are not like me. If you see me on YouTube, मैं पागल हूँ. Literally, I am the only person who is so bad at studies. वरना हर कोई टॉपर है bro. हर कोई in my class. I am the one of the weakest student in our class. You know this you don't know, but this I'm telling. Because everyone पता कैसे आंसर कर रहे थे सब लोग. लिटरली कल जब मैं स्कूल गई थी, लगा मैं घर में बैठ के क्या कर रही हूँ, तो सब भाई अंडे गिन रही हूँ, तो कुछ नहीं कर रही हूँ. Then I felt that there is और ज़्यादा अपने आप को मुझे ये करना पड़ेगा. पता नहीं इससे ज़्यादा this is my maximum the put I'm giving, but let's see. Coordinate bond, the bond formed between two atoms by sharing a pair of electrons provided entirely by one or the combining atoms, but the shared by both is called the coordinate or the dative bond. Hydronium ions, ammonium ions contain coordinate bond. Condition for the formation of coordinate bond: one of the two atoms must at least one lone pair of electrons, ammonia, NH3, water, H2O. A pair of electrons which is not shared with any other atom is known as a lone pair of electrons. 1 second, my grandma came. And I was knowing that she'll ask me something. She asked me that I had my breakfast or no. I've not had my breakfast, guys. So she had went a little out. She had some work. But yeah, let's study the code. So we'll be studying the conditions for the formation of a coordinate bond. One of the two atoms must have at least one lone pair of electrons. Coordinate bond. A coordinate bond can also be defined as a bond formed between an ion and an atom of a polar covalent molecule with one or more lone pairs of electrons. Note, a coordinate bond has properties of both covalent and ionic compounds. Both covalent and ionic compounds, therefore it is also called as dative or coionic bond. The atom which provides the electron pair for the formation of a coordinate bond is called as donor, and the atom which or the ion sharing the donated pair of electrons is called as acceptor. Coordinate bond is represented like this. Okay, formation of H3O plus ions. Water contains two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. The hydrogen atom has one electron in its valence shell, while the oxygen atom has 6 electrons in its valence shell. The two hydrogen atoms share one electron each with oxygen atom to form a water molecule. The unshared pair of electrons known as lone pair of electrons do not participate in the bond formation in water molecule. These lone pair repel the bond shared pairs. Thus, the shape of the water molecule becomes wedge shaped. What did I understand? By the way, मैंने आई भी मेरी ऑनेस्टली मैंने इस पूरा तक पढ़ा भी नहीं है. ये जो चैप्टर ये वाला पेज मैंने पढ़ा नहीं है. मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा. फिर स्टार्टिंग लाइक समथिंग आई वाज लाइक हाँ मैं अपने आप को ऐसे प्रोसेस कर रही थी. तक मुझे पूरा चैप्टर समझ नहीं आया. 2 मैंने चैप्टर के लिटरली मैंने लेक्चर भी देख रखे हैं, बट मैंने रिविजन नहीं करी अगेन. There is a need of watching a lecture now. See you guys after watching the lecture. And by the way, शायद after watching the lecture थोड़ा बहुत मैं ऐसे बेसिस सॉल्व मुझे स्टार्ट करना है, और ऐसे बेसिस सॉल्व मैंने लिटरली, हाँ मैंने, अगर मैं कहूँ कि मैंने लेक्चर देखा ही नहीं है यार इस चैप्टर का, एक भी लेक्चर नहीं देखा है, तो वो होगा एनालिटिक केमिस्ट्री। मैंने बहुत लाइटली ले रखा है, मुझे लग रहा है अभी, बट मैंने एनालिटिक केमिस्ट्री लिटरली मैंने एक भी लेक्चर नहीं देखा है, विच आई थिंक आई विल रिग्रेट, सो आई डोंट वांट टू डू दैट। सो फॉर श्योर हु वोंट रिग्रेट ब्रो, नो वन वोंट रिग्रेट्स इन लाइफ। तो हम वो एनालिटिक करेंगे, जल्दी करेंगे, बहुत जल्दी करेंगे एनालिटिक, कसम से बता रही हूँ, जल्दी से जल्दी, मतलब बहुत जल्दी करूँगी, डोंट वरी। एनालिटिक केमिस्ट्री करेंगे, डोंट वरी। बट बिफोर बिगिनिंग विद एनालिटिक केमिस्ट्री आई विल बी डूइंग एसिड बेसिस। एनालिटिक शायद 2-4 दिन बाद ही करूँगी, आई एम श्योर, बट एटलीस्ट नाउ विल बी वॉचिंग लेक्चर ऑफ केमिकल बॉन्डिंग। वीडियो यहाँ पे खत्म होती है। मैंने थंबनेल में 60 मिनट का लगा रखा है, बिकॉज मुझे थंबनेल बनाने का भी टाइम नहीं है, स्पेशली अगर फिर से मैं थंबनेल बनाऊँ, फिर से मैं करूँ, आई होप टू अंडरस्टैंड राइट। मैं टाइटल पे लगा देती हूँ, 30 मिनट्स का है तो 30 मिनट्स का, 35 मिनट्स का है, 45, वॉट एवर दैट, द राउंड फिगर करके। सो प्लीज़ see towards that, and yeah, that is it for this one. If you like it, you know what to do, like, share, comment and subscribe, and thank you so much for studying with me. This is very nice, मतलब जितना मुझसे हो सकता है मैं उतना पढ़ा, but trust me, it was really good यार, मतलब नॉट सो डीप, बट फॉर श्योर इसी चैप्टर का एक और स्टडी विद मी आएगा जहाँ मैं पढ़ रही हूँगी, आई एम श्योर, आई एम वेरी मच श्योर अबाउट दिस, बट नॉट द रीडिंग विच आई हैड नाउ, जो बहुत ही ऊपर सा सटल सा ऊपर रीडिंग था। आई डिडंट इवन कवर दिस बक्सेस, ठीक है। तो एंड मैं ऐसे मैं यूजुअली छोड़ भी देती हूँ सारे बक्सेस, but we will try to cover that baksa also in the future and the upcoming video, so make sure stay tuned, and that is it for this one. See you in the next one. Bye.